In the final round of the UzChess Cup 2025, two of the world's fiercest young grandmasters locked horns. On one side, Nodirbek Abdusattorov, the Uzbek star and home favorite. On the other, R Praggnanandhaa, the rising force from India, hungry for glory. The stakes? The championship title itself. And after a nail-biting set of classical games and brutal tiebreaks, it was Praggnanandhaa who emerged victorious, crowned the UzChess Cup Champion. Let's dive into this final round masterpiece. Nodirbek begins the game with pawn to e4, taking central control. Praggnanandhaa replies with pawn to c5, choosing the Sicilian Defense. Then, knight to f3, followed by pawn to e6. Nodirbek pushes forward with pawn to d4. Praggnanandhaa captures, pawn takes on d4. Nodirbek instantly develops, knight takes on d4. Then comes knight to c6 from Praggnanandhaa. Knight to c3 by Nodirbek. Knight to f6 by Praggnanandhaa. And now bishop to f4, quietly developing. Praggnanandhaa continues, pawn to d6. Nodirbek places his bishop on b5, eyeing the knight. Black calmly defends, bishop to d7. Nodirbek captures, knight takes on c6. And Praggnanandhaa responds, pawn takes on c6. White's bishop steps back, bishop to a4. Then comes a bold central thrust, pawn to e5 by Praggnanandhaa. Nodirbek plays bishop to g5. Pragg pushes, pawn to h6. The bishop takes the knight, bishop captures on f6. Praggnanandhaa recaptures, queen to f6. Then queen to d3 by Nodirbek, centralizing. Praggnanandhaa responds, pawn to a5, forcing the bishop to the edge. Nodirbek castles long. Pragg plays bishop to e7, continuing smooth development. Rook to f1, Nodirbek brings his forces to the center. And Praggnanandhaa castles short. The kings are now on opposite wings. Nodirbek plays pawn to g3, building kingside tension. Pragg shifts his rook, rook to b8, lining up against the queenside. Then pawn to f4, ready to crack open lines. Praggnanandhaa brings his rook to b4, going straight after the queen. Nodirbek's queen advances, queen to a6. Now the center bursts open. E-pawn takes on f4. Nodirbek recaptures with the g-pawn. However, it's a mistake. Praggnanandhaa immediately takes advantage with rook from f to b8, forming a double rook battery on the semi-open b file. Nodirbek holds his ground with pawn to e5. Praggnanandhaa plays queen to f5. Nodirbek takes on d6. Pragg calmly places his bishop on f6. His bishop now breathing fire along the long diagonal, with an X-ray on the white kingside. Then Nodirbek drops his bishop back to b3, eyeing a dangerous diagonal. Praggnanandhaa plays queen to c5, doubling the pressure. Then rook to e1 by Nodirbek. Pragg strikes, bishop takes the pawn on c3. White captures, pawn takes bishop, and Pragg hits hard, queen takes the pawn on c3. Nodirbek plays queen to d3, offering a queen exchange. But Praggnanandhaa declines and plays the best move, queen to a1 check. Nodirbek responds with king to d2, trying to regroup. Pragg backs off, queen to f6. Nodirbek plays pawn to c3. Pragg calmly posts his bishop on f5. Then a stunning decision. Nodirbek gives up the queen for a rook and bishop, queen takes on f5. Pragg plays an intermediate move, rook to d4 check. After c-pawn takes on d4, Pragg recaptures, queen takes on f5. Nodirbek plays king to c3. Again, Pragg finds the best move under time pressure, queen to d7. Nodirbek swings his rook to the center, rook to e5. Pragg captures the d6 pawn, and Nodirbek brings the other rook, rook to d1. After king to f8, rook to e4, and queen to b4. Now, pawn to f5 from Nodirbek, trying to create threats. Pragg rolls forward, pawn to a4. Nodirbek responds with bishop to c4. Pragg gives a few checks under time pressure. Then Praggnanandhaa brings in the hammer, rook to b8. And we enter a dance of coordination. The position tightens. Queen to c1, queen to d1, queen to b1, each move increasing the pressure. Then pawn to g6 by Pragg. Nodirbek captures, pawn takes on g6. Queen to c1, check, king to d3, rook to b4. Nodirbek gives check, rook to e8. King steps to g7. He checks again, rook to g8. King captures on g8. G-pawn takes on f7 with check. Nodirbek desperately tries to find some counterplay. However, Pragg plays with clinical precision and finds the best move, king to he7. Nodirbek promotes, pawn to f8 becomes a queen. It looks dangerous, but it's already too late. Pragg finishes, queen takes on c4. And Nodirbek resigns. It's over. A crushing endgame, crafted with clarity, courage, and absolute control. With this victory, R Praggnanandhaa clinches the UzChess Cup 2025 title, standing tall against the fiercest competition. This wasn't just a win, it was a masterclass in endurance, calculation, and championship composure. Which move impressed you the most? Tell us in the comments. Like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss epic games like this. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, support the channel, become a paid member, or send a super thanks to keep the content coming. Until next time, keep your mind sharp, your pieces active, and your spirit unshaken. This is chess at its finest.